Hey, everybody, welcome. Sorry, a little late. We've had some technical issues I've been trying to get over with, and I'm just trying to get Chris back into the room. I do apologize, everybody, for the delay, but we will get Chris in here very shortly. So I do apologize about that. Man, technology. Everything was working fine, and then it just kind of dumped out on me. So we will get ourselves going here. What up there, Joe? How's it going? We're just trying to get Chris back in from Carolina Blue Cigars. Again, had some technical issues, and I had to bail out on everything and reset everything. So Chris shall be joining us back here in just a moment. Kind of stunk on that. Yeah, I do. I love lives. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring in here Chris from Carolina Blue Cigars. Welcome, brother.
What's
How
up?
are you? Sorry,
What's going on?
technology. Technology.
No, it was actually on me. Started the car, and my headphones went into the car in the Bluetooth. I forgot to shut that one off, but it happened. Technology,
Yeah.
technology. I'm like, wait, I can't hear nothing.
So, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Man, I'm good, bro. Good. Thank you for having me, and I'm ready to have some fun with you, man. Ready to have some fun with you.
Excellent. Excellent. We've already got a couple people who are popping on, so welcome to Joe from the Evil Empire.
Yes, Joe. He owes me an interview too.
Yeah,
That's right. He said we're gonna do one at PCA. Just forgot
uh-huh.
the little people. So yeah, I'm talking about you, Joe. Nah, it's all good. I know he's busy. Do one at PCA. It's all good. It's all
It's
good.
all good. Yeah. So, Chris, for the people who may be out there who don't know who you are, how about you introduce yourself and let the people know about you?
Yes, most definitely. Chris Moore. We'll start with the good stuff first. I'm a born, bred, raised a little bit in New York City, Bronx, and the Queens, and of course, family goes to North Carolina, so I have some roots in the Carolinas. There be about the name, and from there, Army retired 30 years, and been doing Carolina Blue for like 6 years now. So we started small back in 2016, and we started with three basic cigars, the Connecticut Maduro Habano lines, and then we relaunched in about 2019, I guess, with the new factory El Fuente out of Villa Gonzalez, and we created another 7 blends, and then we did some more expansion in Nicaragua, and we created another 7 over there. So yeah, so that's the short and skimmy part.
Excellent. So, where did your love for cigars come from?
Um, I could say I can't really say that I had I should have added more on this. I worked in tobacco as a kid. Well, as a teenager, more so. I shouldn't say kid. That's teenager. Summertime, I was getting extra money when I visited my relatives.
Working out in the
Just
tobacco
some,
fields in Carolina.
yeah, yeah, the tobacco fields, worked there, getting me those summer funds going. And it was just, that's what everybody was doing. So I kind of got into it, that aspect. Once I got a little older, I got more into sports, so I kind of stopped. But fast forward um, my uncle in DR approached me again about doing, working in tobacco again, because at that time I was playing a lot of golf, and he's like, I think golf and cigars. He like, how many people smoke cigars and play golf? I'm like, a lot of people do that. And like, once you get back into it, you know about it. I'm like, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew the business. I already knew that side. And I was trying to do something else. I was trying to, I was really heavy into golf. I wanted to go and be an instructor and just play golf and retire and go off in the sunset. But he twisted my arm a little bit, intrigued me, because I was looking to go into more of the apparel business, tying the military with the golf at the same time, and just getting into that. It was some, loopholes trying to get all of the fabrication and stuff done. Everything was in Vietnam or China, so I'm like, I'm not doing that either. So I circled back, thought about it for about a month or two, went back and got reacquainted with things, how things are currently. I already know about the Leafs and, how to age them and all that stuff. So I got back into it with one of his good friends that he knew that was well-known, a well-known blender, Francisco de la Cruz. And, he took me under his wing again, and it kind of got the blood flowing once again. And we came up with some stuff, It was a rocky road in the beginning because I didn't really have hands-on yet because I was still in the military. So the first couple of cigars weren't up to par. I'll leave it at that. And then after I got my hands back on it, the blending, the quality of the cigars, the primings and all that, then the cigars, went to another level. So, and then it's just been, I haven't looked back since. So now I'm like a cigar junkie again, once again. So, but while I was in the military, we smoked on deployments, after a deployment or whatever. I didn't smoke as much as I do now. One, because military, you either busy doing something or you working out. But, during deployments, it's a camaraderie thing, a relaxation thing amongst the soldiers, and that's what we kind of did. It kind of get me back into it a little bit. And at that time, I wasn't even thinking about, getting back into cigars at all. It was just something that we did. The crazy part is, before I went into the military, I actually bought 2 cigars. I smoked one on the way into basic training, like the night before I left. And I said, I'm going to keep this other one, so when I get out of basic training or AIT, I'm going to smoke it on the way to my duty station. And I actually never smoked that other one because it was weird. It was weird because I smoked it and I wanted another one. And I said, that's not how I'm supposed to feel, because it was strange because I wanted to smoke another one right away. So, not thinking that it was a machine made. I can't even remember the name. And the weird part about it was when I was packing up my stuff to come in, get out the military, I was going through a trunk and I found the second cigar in the trunk. It was in my trunk for like 30 freaking years. That cigar was in the trunk for 30 years. That was crazy. So,
did you smoke it?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Yeah. So that's where it all began.
So when you started with the idea to create, well, you didn't really want to get back into the industry afterwards, but when you guys, I guess, got talked into coming back into the industry,
right,
and into it, did you have any reserved about it, or did you feel like this was going to be more of a hobby than a legit business?
Well, in the beginning, because I was already thinking of the businesses that I wanted to run. So any business, you kind of have to feel what's going on. So in the beginning, I say the first year, I was feeling out how this was going to go. So I say for the first year, I probably gave out about a good 2,000-3,000 cigars, just like to people to try it, try this. I did some I did some things and let people try it out to see where it was at. And I did more like a market, a market testing just to see where it's at. I started smoking different brands that were out there. Some of the brands don't exist now. To get my palate back to see, I wasn't really smoking the ones that I created because I didn't know. So I just started just smoking everything. I got into some wings of a couple of brick and mortar people that I knew in New York because I was still in that area, and I would go hang out with them. They would introduce me to some people. When I went to, back to DR with Francisco, he introduced me to like everybody because everybody knew him. He was good friends with the people at LFD because they're like right across the street from the factory. Jose Reyes, just Jose Blanco, just like all kinds of people that introduced me to, he introduced me to. One, because he saw that I wasn't just a guy come in and just like give him some money, make me some cigars. I was trying to get back in. I was trying to get my groove back in a sense. I would go to the processing plants with him, pick out lots of cigars, smoke, fajitas, and just smoke everything that we would try to make. And he's like, okay. I would go like for 2 weeks at a shot. I was there all the time. Because I still have family over there too. So I would go there and spend time with them, spend time at the factory all the time. And it was just like, if I'm going to jump in it, I'm going to do this 100%. And part of doing it was to see where I fit in the mix. And, and that's what I did, letting people try it. I think my first shop was actually after I retired, was Taylor Smoke here in Charlotte. My first customer, which was wild, was Carolina Panthers. I did an event for Thomas Davis at the time. And it just started rolling. And even at that time, we weren't where we should be. It caught fire like really, really fast. Like you said, back then, it wasn't as many boutique companies that were coming out. Like, the people that were already in the business, they would come out with their own company. But it was, you had Sean Williams. He had his company for a long time. You had my guy Kevin out there with Blue Mountain. He's been out there for 15 years. You had a couple other ones out there. I actually met Dean. It was weird because I some kind of way gravitated towards Dean with Epic at the time, and our stories are kind of similar as far as how he outgrew his first factory and then he moved to a bigger one. And I kind of watched. We connected here and there, and they were kind of my driving force to make it happen. And then once I started smoking a lot of other stuff, I'm like, I can do that. I can make that. Oh, we can do that. And and then it just blossomed from there. We actually went and got the Casa del Monte Cristo account. And that right there told me that I needed to make some adjustments to be even better, a better company and produce better cigars. Because the key to making good cigars, really, you can acquire tobacco all day. You can do that all day long, but the way to keep it the same, to smoke the same, you're not gonna get a different cigar from a different batch. Is to grow your own. And I was fortunate enough to get with the guys I have now, El Fuente, and we grow our own tobacco. And it was a kicker that I didn't know at the time was we have a great, they're not I don't want to say affiliated with Davidoff, but a lot of the guys came from Davidoff, and they grow the tobacco in the same locations. They use the same farmer. They use some of the same tobacco. As far as the way they grow it. And then I was fortunate enough when we went to Nicaragua to catch on with AJ and use some of his tobacco. So it was like I was like winning everywhere. So and it just made it even easier, to just sustain what I'm doing at the moment. So
You said you gravitated towards Dean. Are you working towards wearing the size medium shirts like he does?
oh, oh. Well, you know what? I think we all need to try to be like that, right? But no, I don't want to wear the mediums. But yeah, Dean is. I used to be like, damn, Dean. Like, when do you make cigars? You're always on the water, it's water skiing, sail. You know, he's water sailing and all that shit. He's like, man, on the boat somewhere. He's like, yeah, you know, and I knew where he was at. You know, that was the crazy part. I'm like, when do you make cigars? And then he's like, oh, that was just, you know, before. I don't even have time to do that anymore. I was like, I get it.
Now, are you working? Do you have hand in hand with the blending process, or are you kind of? Do you have your blender that you tell them what you're looking for?
It's some of both. Like the first ones I did were stuff I came up with. Like Victor, he'll come up with. You know, when I first went there, I say, hey, these are my blends. These are what I'm looking for. They're like, why do something else you already had? So they came up with. They was working on some other stuff and they gave it to me. I smoked it. I'm like, no, add more of this, take this away, take this binder, add 10% more of that, blah, blah, blah. The thing about now is the great relationship I have with them now is they know that I kind of know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know everything, but I know what I want, and I know what my customers like. And they kind of give me autonomy to make it happen. So that's the good thing. If I was there on a daily basis or like more, I at one point in COVID, I was there every month, like at least for a week, and I was there all the time. And that was the respect that they gave me to let me like, yeah, if he says he don't want it, then that's fine. Other than like, here, take this off the shelf, take that one. So as soon as I like walk in the factory, which I'm gonna do on Saturday, they're gonna have some stuff ready. And like, all right, tell me what you think, what you want to do with it, what you want to add, what you want to take away, blah, 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 And I'm like, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. So we have a great understanding with each other.
Yes, and then back to a previous comment here from Cigar Rockstar, who talked about when you talked about you gave away a lot of sticks, and that was one of the things he brought up was it's a lot of sticks to give away, but you are just kind of doing like you were talking about widespread taste test panel with just everybody
people
to try and gauge where you needed to go from there.
Right, and it's kind of like. People, they don't give away 2,000 shirts, but people, in any kind of industry might give away product, and just to see how people like it. And unfortunately, that's the direction I had. I'm fresh. I don't, I've been out the game for a while. I don't know, I'm gauging prices, what I'm saying? Should I ask for this, that? I'm trying to get back into wholesale at the same time I'm building the brand as far as everything being correct. So it was a lot of like, hey, let me try it. It was the whole approach of me going to brick and mortar is like, hey, I'm Carolina Blue. The whole thing about I had to rebrand because I have Carolina on the brand. It was just a night. I don't want to say it was a nightmare. It was just a learning experience that I'm glad I went through in the early stages, other than being in like 5 years and have to switch everything up. So I was willing to, I had the means to like, let me just get people to try different ones, see what people like, get honest opinions. Because nobody really knew that I was the owner of the brand. I was like, hey, I got some cigars from some friend. Hey, want to try these? Tell me what you think. Because he wants to know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want it to be like a friend of mine that I'm playing golf with. They're like, yeah, Chris, these are great. And then when you get to the car, like, this shit was trash. You know what I'm saying? So, they gave me honest feedback. And I was like, okay, cool.
I get it. So I got here, you said this was the Summer Breeze, this beautiful box press Toro here. Very good stick. The spice on I've noticed a thing getting through almost this first third on this stick is that the spice is sneaky on this. It doesn't hit you right up front, doesn't hit you in the back, but it hits you, it's delayed, and it's very nice.
Yes.
So the names of your sticks that you have out, is there a process when did you already knew what you were going to name them when you were working on the blends, or did it come to you while you were smoking the blends?
Came to me after because I try to keep, other than my first cigars or the first five Dominicans, because I didn't really like, what you gonna name them? I don't fucking know. So I'm like, let's just keep it let's just keep it basic. So the Nicaraguan blends, as I was smoking them, because I wanted to keep everything within my history of what I've done. You know, my childhood, the military, my family. So, you know, Carolina, you know, at that point when we reblended, I needed to take the Carolina Blue brand and make it a staple. So I named it off of things that I kind of saw in my childhood. You know, like summer breeze, working in a tobacco field. You get a nice, cool summer breeze, but at the same time, it's muggy. Like right now, tonight, I usually get a nice breeze, but tonight after a rain, it's really muggy. So that's the summer breeze thing I got. Dragonflies, those are some of the things as a kid I used to run from because I didn't know what the hell they were. And after a while, I knew what they were, and you know, it's like, okay, dragonflies. I used to see them all the time. That's the Maduro, and then we got the black bears. A family relative used to always tell me how they used to go bear hunting, and then as I grew older, there was a big presence of black bears where I grew up at. So, you know, as a teenager, and so that's part of that. Then we have the fire stick, more after the firefly. You know, you used to see those lightning, as they call them, lightning bugs, but it's more of a firefly. And then the sofrito is more of the Spanish background. So that's where that came from. So with the spices.
We got a question coming in here from Jose from Backyard Cigars, who wanted to know what has been your biggest obstacle you've been faced with in the cigar biz?
Just getting, I want to say, to get the cigars out there is just the awareness of cigar, the Carolina Blue brand. You know, when I started Carolina Blue, I wanted it to be a name that could be easily remembered. You know, I wasn't thinking of the regional thing like, oh, that's a Carolina Panther cigar, or oh, that's a Carolina Tar Heel cigar, or oh, that's a whatever. I just wanted, because here people think of it as a team, but when I'm in DR, people think of it as, oh, you named it after your daughter, you know, Carolina. It was neither one of the two. I kind of named it after, you know, what I went through, but the whole thing of just marketing the brand itself, because you know, we all know it's a who you know kind of thing, or who you know in the business. And one thing that, not saying would I want to have that, but that was something like I've always done things so they can have their own. You know, I can always ride a coattail, but that coattail eventually gets swept up and that coattail's not there anymore. So that's been kind of the hardest thing. Is like, I always, for a point there, I was always smoking. It's good, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. So I just right before COVID, I just stopped all that. I'm like, you know what? Carolina Blue Cigars, this is what we have. We'll give you something to smoke. Just tell your friends about it. If you like it and your friends like it, tell your brick and mortar. And that's all I can do, because that's who's gonna buy it.
And see, Eli here smoking the buckshot Maduro, and it's great.
Yeah. See, like a cigar like the buckshot. The buckshot came about with me doing events, and people were like, I want a full body cigar. I want a full body cigar. It's just to wear my ass out with that. I'm like, okay. Give me like 45 days. and the buckshot was born. And there it is.
Now,
that's how I feel about it.
Over the last year, have you seen a bigger increase in your ability to get into brick and mortar shops?
Yes and no. The great thing about it now, that's actually made it so much easier, is Illusione. You know, we have distribution with them, And just so now, what I'm doing is introducing a lot of the brick and mortars now. It's like, hey, we have distro with Luciani. So that gives me some credibility. Um, Before that, I had Santa Clara. That gave me credibility there. So now with Luciani, it's easier for me to approach shops other than trying to go through the whole intro and go through the whole I've been around for 6 years, even though I still get that question, but it's not a curiosity factor like it was before because of Luciani and Dion. You know what I'm saying? And it's made it so much easier to just like, oh, you are? Okay, I got an account with them already. I'm like, okay, give us time, we'll be on there about. And it's just the transactions and the introduction factor is so much easier because then you have a shop that's like, I dealt with boutiques before, and it was always something. They never had the same cigar. It's always that bad taste that they had dealing with something else, someone else. But now they say, oh, you with somebody who does distribution. Like, okay, so you must have some kind of you must be doing well. So it's making it easier.
Yeah, I would assume it was. I mean, especially if you're walking into a shop and they sell Luciani and you can drop Dion's name. I mean, I think that's some massive clout there for a store to go, well, maybe I need to give these guys a look.
And that's all I want.
I agree.
And I want to be in 7 shops in a city? No. Give me 1 or 2. I'm happy with that. That's what I want it to be. And that's kind of how Luciani is. They're not everywhere, but they are everywhere. So.
They are in the shop I go. Luciani is in the shop I go to, and of course, and it's the only shop in town. In Fort Collins, Colorado. So. They're there. So. But you are right. I've gone to shops in big cities and I haven't seen them. But then you go to the shops on like the outskirts of big cities and
they're there.
They're there. So good. So do you know how many retail shops are you in now?
We're right at I want to say 33 right now.
Okay. And you're are you mainly in the southeast?
Yeah, mainly southeast and it's southeast, north. And I'm in New York. I'm out in Montana actually, and a few shops. We have to do some. We were in California. We just have to revisit them. We haven't been out there since COVID. But most of the shops that we have now are like distribution in Florida. Like we have Oxford Cigar Company that handles our stuff. Most of the shops are here in North Carolina, Maryland. Maryland, New York. We're revisiting Jersey, Pennsylvania, Georgia, in the Atlanta area, of course, Florida. And we're just slowly moving. The way I want to do, I had an event this weekend in North Carolina, and the crazy part is I'm on the western side of the state, but I need to be more on the eastern side of the state. So what my plan is to refocus in the area that Carolina Blue should represent, and that should be North or South Carolina, and then we'll gradually expand out, because it's just me for the most part. Unfortunately, it's just me, and I have my, some good friends working with me, my brand ambassadors, and we have Heather and another T and my other marketing person. We have Janae and one of my good friends, Damon. And I'm a really a small business. When I mean small, it's small. So I don't have a Salesforce team. I'm talking to a few brokers now that can expand the brand, and that's probably the reason why we haven't expanded as much as we should be. And I'm not upset with that, because I'm more of I want to get the product right before I release it to a customer. For the people who talk to me, I'm really, yeah, I'm really like, what is it? I don't want to say anal, but I'm really hard on the products that I put out. Like I can put a cigar out tomorrow if I wanted to. Will it be good? I can't guarantee that. But I really am hard on what I put out. I'm really in tune to what I put out. It's some cigars that people have for me, samples that were never released. They're like, you should put this out. I'm like, no. Like the cigar you're smoking, it went through like 3 iterations. And the first one, everybody's like, it was a Corona. Everybody's like, man, you got to put this out. I'm like, no, nobody's going to buy it. And then I went through like a Toro, regular, Toro, and then the box press came out. And everybody's like, I said, you're going to love the box press. I'm like, why? It's going to be like almost like an Olivia V type, profile. So you're going to like it. Like, nah, get out of here. Bam. I gave it to him. Like, yeah, you're right. So
It's
you know,
it is definitely. I mean, it is definitely good. I like that delayed spice hit to it. The retro,
yeah,
is very nice sweetness to the retro. And when I was thinking summer breeze onto this, I was really kind of also expecting to maybe pick up saltiness like summer breeze off of the ocean.
on the beach.
Yes, but when you explained, working out on the tobacco farms,
Right.
and the breeze that you get hit on a
Right.
hot, humid day, it
Right.
totally started making sense.
Right.
Let's see, Saran here. Chris, much respect, brother, and congrats on CBC.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. We still have a long way to go. I get up in the mirror. I get up every morning and look at it like we got to have a better day. So, we still have a little way to go. And it just, you guys, the customers make the brand. I could produce thousands of cigars, and without you guys enjoying the experience, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that cigar right there is one of my favorites that you're smoking right now.
This is very good. And it's not it's not heavy. Definitely more towards the lower side of medium, but the flavors are very good.
Right.
This is one thing I talk about. If you the people who are in the chat on the multiple platforms, I always talk about, doesn't have to kill you. It doesn't have to be harsh and brash and full bodied. You can have a nice lower bodied stick, but if the flavors pop, that's all you need. That's all you need. Yeah. And definitely, I'm hitting this point now where I'm starting to pick up, starting to get the drool starting to puddle up in the.
Yeah, so you get a little honeysuckle in there, which I call, not really honeysuckle, but a little cinnamon, little honey. It's just all kind of different nuances.
Yes, I definitely picked that honey up coming off the foot. I mean, it is, and it's got that very raw, fresh honey smell to it.
Right.
Let's say from Saran. What advice do you have for others to follow their passion and put out an expression in a cigar? That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question, and I guess I can use it. Us being small. I know your audience smoke a lot of cigars, and the one thing that I do is when I go and we blend and we come up with something, I go and I sit in a corner, and they'll tell you, if you ever visit the factory, remember I gave you that offer to come to the factory, they'll tell you Chris sits right over there with coffee, and he smokes like a freaking customer. And because you have to, as an owner, you want the cigar to identify to who you are. You know what I'm saying? And what you're trying to give your customers. Like, what experience do you want to give your customers? Whether it be earthy, whether it be full body or bold or whatever. But do you want your customers to like just smoke yours and can't smoke anymore? Or do you want your customers to be able to smoke every single one of your cigars and be able to like, damn, each one of these were different. And that's the thing that I put a lot of work into. Like every single cigar has a different profile, a different taste. And that was the thing that I didn't understand in the beginning. So what I did in the beginning was I had a Maduro, Habano, and a Connecticut, and all I did was tweak the blends and put different wrappers on them. And then as I'm smoking them, I'm like, damn, these are like too close together. Some would be better than others. Some would taste a little different because of the binder wrapper content. But I'm like, they're too close. So I was like, I gotta find a way to figure it out. And that just drove me to come up with like, I want every cigar to be different. Every single one. I don't want to have the Habano kind of tastes like the Maduro. No, we're not doing that. Let's just go different every time. Right. And just be special. Just be special. So
I do, and I've talked to a lot of different manufacturers and blenders out there about their process. I'm like, are you blending for consumer? Is it a certain consumer? Or are you blending for yourself and hoping that everybody likes what you're blending for you?
Right.
And, and I think there needs to be this happy balance between you're blending something for yourself, but you're also thinking about the general consumer who's going to be purchasing these sticks. Because my palate's not the same as consumer A's palate, but I'm limiting my audience because I like sticks like this.
Right. And that can hurt. It can hurt, it can help. But I wanted everybody to smoke. Like I have people that smoke flavored cigars and like, I don't want to stop trying to smoke flavored cigars. I'm like, okay. So sometimes I will give them that stick that you're smoking. They're like, wow, it wasn't as strong or it wasn't as overpowering as I thought it would be. So now you're catching different nuances. It's just, because they could smoke cigarettes or whatever they do. And I have different cigars that can fit what they like, or what they've done. And that's the versatility that I wanted in the brand. I want cigars for everybody, So there you go. Yeah, he has a couple of winners there. There's a couple of winners there.
Yes, so I noticed this one here has the pigtail on it.
That is the
ponytail.
That's the buckshot. Yeah, that's the buckshot Habano. That is actually a little stronger than the Maduro. Everybody's like, really? Because it's dark. It's not dark. I'm like, it don't have nothing to do with it's dark. It's the filler, man. It's the filler. So they're like, okay. So I had this at the show. Actually, I gave some people the same thing. They're like, wow, you were right. The shit is stronger. And then I gave them the Connecticut Nicaraguan, and they was just coming back for more. I'm like, don't look at the wrapper. Just smoke it. Just smoke it for the enjoyment of the cigar, and let me know what you think.
When I go to these trade shows, I get so many cigars and I smoke so much that there are certain brands and certain sticks that I get from manufacturers that I don't want to smoke until I have a chance to clear my palate out after a couple weeks. Because I feel I'm doing a disservice if I'm just smoking. Because you hit that point where everything just starts tasting the same.
Yes.
And I don't feel I'm doing you any good if I'm have a wrecked palate telling everybody, yeah, it's fantastic, and it's not. Or I can't explain the cigar because at this point now everything tastes like I'm chewing on firewood.
Right. You're absolutely right. And the crazy part is I even get like that with my own cigars. I try not to smoke my cigars. I try not to smoke them because after a while, they start merging together and start tasting the same. So I'm like, I don't want to smoke mine. So I go look for some other stuff to smoke, some new stuff. And then when I come back to my cigar, because I'm doing a quality check, and I'm like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to taste like. Yep, that's what it's supposed to taste like, and I do it that way. So,
do you have any? Are you working on, or do you have any plans for any collaborations with any other companies out there?
Yeah, I have one that we connected at TPE that I need to follow up on. I'm the kind that I don't talk about it until after it's done. But yeah, I have I have one that would be amazing if we can get this working right. It'll be unexpected, and it would be amazing. They're actually one of my favorite cigars that I like to smoke. So when I approached them about it, they're like, hell yeah. I'm like, okay, so let's get this rocking. And hopefully we can get it done, and hopefully have it ready by PCA 23. Hopefully. It's just all in timing and everybody in the right positions at the right time. Some of these things take a little while.
Yeah.
And we want to do it right. We want to do it right, and and make it something, great. It's like like I have a cigar now that I've been working on for like 4 years, and I just can't find the wrapper to complete the deal. And it's just things happen. It's a natural product, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. But yeah, I'm hoping. I think about that all the time. I'm like, I can't wait till the first time we all get in there and just go to work, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be an amazing time. I can't wait.
So outside taking your brand out of play, are you more on the boutique side or are you more on the legacy side, and what you enjoy smoking?
I'm more on the legacies. I don't really smoke a lot of the legacy stuff. One, because I know most of them, from when I go to the yard, that's what they handed me. Or I like to smoke, complex transitional cigars, to see, I like to smoke warp, I like to smoke dapper, I like to smoke epic stuff, I like to smoke Aurora stuff, HVC. It's like those guys are like, at one time I like, what was it? They're out of business now. Was it Courtney and, what was the freaking name? Courtney and, I forgot her name. But they came out and they just went out of business. But they were good. That was like one of the first cigars I went with when I was smoking. Just all kinds of stuff that you can't find. Even some of my people, like, Black Star Line, some of those guys, Fred Cigar is good. Just seeing what people do, just because we can do just different things. I like Agrinorsa stuff. That's probably one of the bigger companies that I smoke on a regular basis. Stuff like that. Then the other one, West Tampa, I was impressed with that one.
Yeah, so was I. But you kind of had to expect it with Rick. Just he wasn't just gonna throw something out there and see if it sticks. I know that's kind of he was worried about how it was going to be perceived, and if he really thought anybody was going to want to be involved. And I'm like, dude, it's you. Everybody knows who you are, knows your greatness. Of course they're going to be one involved in what you're doing.
It was funny because when I smoked it, I'm like, wait a minute. This tastes something like mine. So I retroed it up, like, hold up. So I had to go research. I'm like, okay. He's not even a virgin. Because we had similar notes, the floral notes and all that. So I'm like, wait a minute, this tastes like my freaking Libertado, almost. So I'm like, it was cool. It just tells you how people in different places can do different things with tobacco, and they'd be in two different regions using two different tobaccos, and the taste can be somewhat similar. It ain't the same, but it has similar notes. So that's what I was really impressed. I'm like, yeah, I like this one. This is really. I think I smoked the Maduro one. Yeah, it was Maduro, and it was I think it was Robusto. It was Robusto, and I was like, wow, I was impressed with that. So. Yep.
Do you remember the first cigar you ever smoked?
Whew. It was a. A white owl.
A white owl. Go with a old grandpa stick.
That shit was horrible.
You know, my grandpa used to smoke the White Owls,
Yeah,
and
it was horrible.
I
It
remember
was.
I remember as a young kid in the 80s him bitching because they had just changed the blend on it and it didn't taste the same as he remembered. But that was also back in the time when he he smoked like a train. He would be smoking a
Yeah.
cigar, hit windows up in the car, smoke the cigar, and as soon as he put it out, light a cigarette, smoke a cigarette,
Right.
put it down, light another cigar, and then
It's crazy.
you'd open the door and it's just cloud. You couldn't see anybody. It was just clouds as soon as the door opened.
It was crazy back then, and I my first Cuban I smoked was Romeo and Julieta, um, the Churchill. It was amazing at the time when I smoked it. Uh, yeah, it was good. I'm not a Cuban fan. You know, there's so many more to get. But I don't I choose like why I got my own. You know, if I get one, I get one. You know, I'm not searching for any. But yeah,
I'm
there's
not one of those guys either that searches out Cubans. I'm
yeah,
on they're on the overhyped train, and
yeah, yeah.
and I don't deal with Cuban guy who says that if it's not a Cuban, it's not a real cigar. I ignore those guys. But
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
for
You
me,
like what you like.
yeah, for me, the day I turned 18, I skipped school and I drove to the cigar shop in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I walked in and I
Hmm.
said, I just turned 18 today. I don't know anything about cigars. I want to learn. I'm fascinated by them because in the movies, all the cool guys smoke cigars. All the bad guys smoke cigars. Anybody who's anybody, well, they were cool. And so they gave me 3 sticks and said, try these 3 sticks out. If you like them, come back. They didn't charge me for them, but they gave them to me and said, try them. And I was like, wow, really? And then they sent me down this big, long rabbit hole that 22 years later, I'm doing the same thing, wasting all my paycheck on cigars.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like I got so many cigars in my. I got man. I probably got about. I probably got about 6,000 cigars in my humidor right now.
God, yeah.
Just cigars, just test blends, cigars people gave me, just Lucy's, just all kinds of shit. You know, people just come over like, here, take these, take these, take these. Because I'm
I
not gonna smoke them.
I got 12 Tupperdoors, and I've sorted them all out by wrapper. So I can,
Okay.
this way, if I'm feeling a certain time, like I'm feeling like a broadleaf today, I can just grab a broadleaf out of, I
Oh,
got
there
them
you go.
all organized. Um, Cigar Rockstar here says, I can't find CB in Dallas. Are you in any of the lounges in the
I,
area?
I've been down to Dallas. I was down there in, I think it was March, maybe. I don't know. I know I'm gonna go back to Houston. I know C Dot wants me back in there. I don't know what's up with Dallas. I don't know. My man is in Dallas. He's a broker down there. He says he's gonna help me out. I don't know what's up with Dallas. Maybe because it's a Carolina thing, and then y'all don't want me down there. I don't know. Maybe I have to send it down there with no damn bands on it, and it'll get in the store. I don't know what the hell is up. But we'll revisit Dallas. I want to. Dallas is a great cigar area. I was
Mm-hmm.
actually went to the was it Underground? I think it's called. Yeah, I went to the Underground. I love those guys over there. Um, and I just got to revisit again and just make a longer stay and just kind of make my presence felt. Maybe do some cutting lights and introduce. You know, it's just about being in the area. And I haven't really gotten out yet, but I plan to. Dallas is on the list. Houston's on the list. Arizona's on the list. Memphis, especially up in New York. I got a couple of more shops up in New York, in Long Island, Massachusetts. You know, it's starting to open up. You know, but I'm definitely get back out to Dallas for sure. I can only, me personally, can only get to so many places. I can only be in so many places at once. So I do have another life other than cigars. So yeah, this on the list, man. I do want to get to Dallas. I like Texas. It's a great place. It's just hot as hell in the summer, but I like Texas.
Yeah, Texas. Dallas has a great cigar community in it.
Yeah, they do. They do.
I'm gonna upset the Dallas guys, but I think Houston's is better.
I mean, I think one for Houston is probably better because Dallas is it's like spread out. It's like huge. I mean, both are huge, but
yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's just I know Austin is growing a little more. So many little pockets.
They got it's all them yuppie hippie types though in Austin though.
Yeah, it's little pockets of all over between Dallas and Houston. There's pockets of little a suburban area. It's kind of getting like, I don't want to say Atlanta in a sense, but it's growing. A shop is opening up. Because the cigar industry is kind of growing, so it's a good thing.
San Antonio's got a great cigar community to it.
Yes.
Atlanta has always been one of my favorite places to go for just to you do the cigar crawl. I mean, because there's just so many shops.
It's like a bodega.
Yeah, and there's so many shops you can go to. And each one's different and unique. And you go on a Saturday night, and each one has their own party going on, and and it's just you have so much fun. It's one of the I think it's one of the best cigar communities out that that we have, and more places. I think more places need to learn how to do that, have that kind of fun, and just integrate in the entire community where it's like, cool, hey, we a couple hours here, all right, we're going to this one, a mile away and party out over here.
Right, and I think the thing is like Charlotte, like here in Charlotte, the cigar industry here is trying to grow, but the ordinance for the city kind of holds it down a little bit. Like you can't smoke, 20 feet from this building. You can't be in the park smoking. You can't be over here. It's just so many. Kind of like New York, and that's why New York it's a great cigar community, but everything is either inside the lounge, on a rooftop somewhere. Like you will never have an outside in the park smoking event, kind of like Chicago did a couple of weeks ago. That is not going to happen in New York City. That is not particularly going to happen here in Charlotte unless you have private property somewhere. You have to be outside. It has to be away from certain buildings. There's just so many rules in place for cigars. But if I had a cigarette, I could light that shit up anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
All right, now are you hitting any of the festivals or events coming towards the end of the summer that are going down?
I will be in Tampa at the Cigar Heritage Fest. I had a ball there last year. It was so much fun because I think people were coming right off COVID. And that was like the first public thing that everybody can just be outside other than TPE. Well, PCA happened, but it wasn't as, that's kind of a closed event in a sense. And all the, cigar weeks that had festive things happening at the same time. That will probably be the only fest that I will do between now and next year. We had plans to do something in DC. That's still kind of up in the air. No fault of them. I know they're busy, and sometimes these things just happen. But we do have, if you look, I shouldn't say this, but if you're going to be in DR this weekend, we have a fest going on in DR. So I'll be there this weekend doing that festival there with my man Yaya over there doing his cigar things, which is cool. Yeah, that's it. And then 2023. I only do a few festivals. I don't try to do every one of them. I probably do no more than two, maybe three. I'd rather just attend just to go, just
Hmm.
bringing cigars, dragging them all over the country, dealing with that. If a vendor calls me and they're doing really well and they ask me to come, of course I'll support with a cut light event. But me just going and just sitting up in the sun somewhere, nah. I do Houston's because me and Saran are really cool. We've been in the business together a long time, so I always support him. He supports me. I do Charlotte Cigar Week with Damon. He's been supporting me from the beginning, so I always do that one. And New York, we haven't really connected. I would like to do something in New York. I'm gonna actually, you probably hearing me put something out there. Um, gonna do something in New York big myself, so just look for that in 2023. And a couple of other smaller brands that I'm gonna try to get them together, and we're gonna do something big in New York City. And just like one day, we don't need 3 or 4 days. It just needs to be a nice event and make it really nice. I found this nice venue that I think would be really nice for us to do it at, and that's my city too. And I always get great love in New York City, so why not do a great big event there in New York City?
That's what
So
I like about Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. It's just one day.
yeah, you
It's
can,
not dragged out over a long weekend. It's one
right,
day. All the vendors show up. It's a good time. It's fun. You're outside. They have great smoking tent that's set up for everybody. Get yourself out of 100-degree heat.
right.
And that's what I like about it. Nothing wrong with these festivals that are
No,
2, 3, 4 days, but I like the
nothing
one
wrong
day
with it.
fest because
Yeah,
it's just I can get in, I can enjoy myself, and then it's over with, and I can drive home. I'm not trying to plan out. Okay, how am I going to do this over these days? It's just I like the one day events. I think it's fun. It's
could
more
you
intimate.
could you hold on 1 second? My daughter is going nuts right now. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Ah, Ilana, come here.
Did you like that cigar crawl there, brother T? That's what it is. If you're ever in the Atlanta area on like a Saturday, it is it's what you do. You hit one lounge after another. There's always a block party going on at every cigar shop you go to in the Atlanta area. So you start about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, about 2 a.m. You're over and done with, and then it's just it's a fun time. John, how are you doing, bro? I've been doing
So we
good.
got we got a special guest. So
Oh, we got a special guest. All right.
yeah. So yeah, the crawls are good. They're in the beginning it was like, but after a while you're like, you know what? They're gonna be around. They got bar crawls. It's like, all right, you got a cigar crawl. As long as you have my thing is like if you can enhance the city and do stuff,
Hmm.
you can go anywhere and smoke cigars. But if you're gonna have something in the city, do something what the city offers you. If you're in, you know, Memphis, they do one in Memphis too. So they do the barbecue with it. Just give an out of towner something to do with the city as well. It doesn't have to be cigars. You can do
Yeah.
something different, and then the after, all right, we're gonna have an after party at some lounge. But give them something to do, you know, and that'll make it a
Yeah.
lot better.
I,
Yep.
I, I agree. Yeah. So
Yep.
brother T, go Fridays and Saturdays in Atlanta, man. You're in Atlanta. You gotta hit up. Just start at one about 4 o'clock, and by
Right.
2 a.m. you'll have been to about 7 different cigar shops in the area, and you will be smoked and partied out, and you'll have had one of the best times you'll have ever had. I
Right.
trust me.
Right.
It's a great
Good.
time.
Yes. Yes, it is. So yeah. So that's cool. So I know I did one up in when I went to Montana. It was Montana. It was Montana. So I haven't been up there in like a long time. And I went up there and I was like, wow, it's awesome up here. And, like I said, I was out in South Dakota for a little bit. And it was just, that was just a different way of life out there. Like you're out there now. I'm like, it's so much country, the mountains, and all that. So I was like, wow, I like it up here. But I had to get back to the East Coast. But it was nice up there. It was nice up
Yeah.
there.
I used
Yeah.
to travel to North Carolina all the time when I worked for Reynolds Tobacco back in the day. I used to
Oh,
go
it
out.
wasn't Salem. Yeah.
I used to go there. I worked in quality assurance and quality control, so I would
Okay.
go do inspections of tobacco at all the farms, and then I would travel down working in the premium line. So I traveled down to also Nicaragua and Ecuador and the DR. Um, and uh, just it was a great time. Ooh, it looks like we may have lost Chris there. He froze up, or I froze up. No, Chris froze up. Uh, so yeah, very good. This has been a very good stick. And, I got a few more here that I get to try out. So we'll give it a minute, see if Chris can reconnect back. But I'll go ahead and tell everybody Thursday night. I'm going to try not to have technical issues with the streaming service because had the issue. But Fred from Espinal Cigars or Espinal Puro will be my guest on Thursday night. I'm excited about that. Fred's a great dude. One of the most suave and best dressed guys out there. His accessory line that he now has out there, that over the shoulder sling is awesome. So I hope you guys come and tune in on Thursday night. Again, same place. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, you can find it here. Same time, same bat station. But it looks like we lost Chris. I don't know if he's going to be making his way back in or not. But I appreciate everybody who came and hung out tonight. Thank you guys so much. Had a lot of fun, and he did bail off on the screen. See if he comes back so we could say a proper goodbye to him. What a great guest. If you missed any part of this interview, you can come back and rewatch it and learn more. Went into great detail about his cigar journey to the creation of the company to where he's at now in the very beginning portions of the interview. So definitely worth go back if you haven't if you missed the first part of the interview. Definitely worth it to check that out.
Did I lose you? Did
Yeah,
technology get us again?
I lost, and I was like, okay. I was like, all right. I go, I'll hold on for a couple just to make sure he can get back. See if he gets back in. I
Yeah.
didn't want to end the show and not give you a proper
No, that's
opportunity
fine.
to
No, that's
to.
good. Yeah, I know it. It happens. It happens all the time.
So if they can't find your cigars at their local retail shop, you do direct sales off your website.
Yep, I do. I do. You can go to shopcarolinabluecigars.com. You get everything on there is either the 5-pack samplers, so I give you everything. You get, one of each cigar. You have the 101, the Highway 101 series, which is all Nicaraguan. You have the Signature series, which is all Dominican. You have the broadleaf collection on there now, which is the Connecticut broadleaf and the Pennsylvania broadleaf. And you also have the buckshots on there. And a lot of times when I come out with something new, I'll put it on the website and then let you guys try it. Most of the boxes will go to the brick and mortar. But if if you're a regular customer and you say, Chris, I really like the Connecticut's, can you send me 5? Yeah, I'll definitely take care of the customer and do it that way. And just everything is built off the website, so it's not a problem. Not a problem
There you
at all.
go. ShopCarolinaBlueCigars.com for all of your Carolina Blue cigar needs.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Chris, I really appreciate you taking the time to come hang out tonight, share your story with everybody. I hope everybody goes. If you're not familiar with the brand, you go check it out because I've really been enjoying this Summer Breeze. It is a very good stick. It's a sneaky stick. That's what I'm going to tell you guys. If you haven't smoked it, you got to. It's a sneaky stick. It's very good.
Yes. And that's what we do, man. We try to, give you something that's a little different, and it's not we're not the typical brand that can give you anything. I want you to have an experience, and I stand behind that, and every cigar gives you something different. And that's what we do.
Excellent. Chris, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And definitely have to catch back up with you again here soon.
Yes, definitely. Let's do it again.
Excellent.
Let's do it again.
Everybody, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thursday night, Fred from Espinal Puro will be my guest. And, of course, that's it. So, guys, till next time, we are out.